Thank you very much, General. Thank you for your willingness to continue your service at this level. And again, I look forward to approving you and again, looking forward to your service. So I first want to say thank you. Let me ask you, I'm going to actually do one quick thing on Afghanistan to follow up on Senator Manchin. Tell me from your perspective in regards to the security forces that we and our allies are working to train and ensure that they have their own security force. The question I always have, I know they are growing them, but what is their retention rate of those folks that once trained by us and doing the service for security at different levels, because I have different ones, what's the retention rate that they're able to maintain? And at the same time, are they increasing their literacy rate? Because I know, we were very successful in Iraq because the literacy rate was also very high. Here, it's very low. So can you comment on both those elements, retention and their literacy rate?
Yeah, I can, sir. And retention has shifted over time for two reasons. One is, in the early days, we were paying them at a rate that I think was probably too low to keep them. That was changed about 2 years ago. And the other factor is seasonal. I mean, we have to remember that these young men in Afghanistan, and to a lesser extent in Iraq, but absolutely in Afghanistan, they're agrarian, and so when the planting and harvesting seasons come and go, the attrition rates wax and wane accordingly. Now that said, General Caldwell, who is currently in charge of our NATO training mission in Iraq, monitors the attrition issue constantly. We also think the literacy issue is related to attrition.
Absolutely.
And I don't have the number committed to memory, Senator, but it's it's more than 10,000 and growing in the number of soldiers we've risen or helped achieve an 8th grade, as I recall it, level of literacy. So these issues are all related, but your concerns about attrition are shared by us, as well as the concern for how we develop leaders, because you can develop a basic rifleman. It's a little more challenging to develop the leaders to lead them.
Can you share, you don't have to do it right now, obviously, but if you could get to my office, maybe kind of what you see those trend lines look like over the last several years and where we're going in literacy attainment within the security force that Afghanistan has, as well as the retention rate.
Yes, sir.
Would you do that?
Yes, the last time I touched them, the trend line on attrition was trending positive, which means we were gaining control of it. The trend line on literacy training was also trending positive, but it's a very, that is an enormous slope to climb because for all the reasons you suggested. But both trends are positive.
Good. Well, if you could share that with me, that'd be great. Let me. You just made me think of something additionally. Is there? Because I know the military does this. They always have a contingency plan about everything, plan A, B, C, all the way to Z. I'm assuming somewhere, and maybe it's not within DoD, but maybe it's a combo between DoD, state, and other. Assume the scenario we're out of Afghanistan, there is a financial cost that we're going to be committed to at some point. I mean, for all the reasons. I mean, their economy can't sustain the security forces that we're training for and everyone else is training for. They don't have the money. So is there somewhere within DoD, State Department, or combo, or one of the agencies that has looked at scenario X that out of Afghanistan, here is the U.S. commitment financially?
Yes, and I would add NATO, because it's very clear that as we reach 2014, that there, as you suggested, there will be a lingering economic challenge for Afghanistan, and we will have to assist. I say we, again, meaning
it's a combination,
not just the United States, right?
But we'll have a commitment of some.
I believe we will, yes, sir.
Do you know, is that something that's available at this point to review and what those costs might be, or is that something you could get back to me at least with and determine where I need to direct that question?
Yeah, let me contact, if I could, Senator, the CENTCOM commander who would essentially, as the combatant commander for that region, oversee that effort. And I'll see if I can put him in touch with you or if he can communicate with you through me.
That'd be great. Thank you very much. Let me walk through a couple other quick ones. Obviously, in Alaska, we care greatly about missile defense system, and I know the military has done some additional work, and they're continuing to make some additional plans of finishing up some of the fields there and also some additional interceptors. Can you give me your opinion of the missile defense system that's currently in Alaska, but also let me add another caveat to this. As we know, the system there deals with North Korea, Pacific Rim, so forth, but also has reach to the East Coast, but very last minute, last second kind of Iran issue. So it's a two-part question. One, your thoughts on GMD for Alaska, but also, is there a need for a complementary system on the East Coast to then kind of finish the efforts of not only North Korea, but more robust in dealing with Iran? If you could answer those two pieces of the question.
Yes, sir. The current strategy calls for replicating what you would describe as an air defense capability on the West Coast, but is replicating that in Europe because of the flight plan of any missile that might be launched from Iran. And there's also some, I'll describe them as very early nascent discussions with Russia about sharing early warning and things that could be very, very positive. So I think this work is ongoing and important, and I'll give it my full interest.
And the system we have up in Alaska is important to the, you can see where I'm going here. I want to make sure I get on.
No, I do, sir, and it is.
Good, very good. Let me move to another issue, law of the sea. Some members that were here last week on being up for nomination, different positions within DOD, I was asking them the same question. We're one of the few countries that haven't signed on to this treaty. I mean, we're hanging out with Syria and Iran and Libya. Those are our people that we're in company with who haven't signed also, which is not, the company I care to keep, and I'm sure you don't care to keep either. So can you tell me just your thoughts on the law of the sea from a military perspective? The complaint people have is that this gives up our sovereignty if we sign this treaty. I disagree with that. I think this helps our sovereignty, strengthens our sovereignty. Can you give me your thoughts on that?
I support the other leaders who have testified and attested to the fact that I think it will improve our standing and our security if we enter into the Law of the Sea Convention.
Thank you very much. My time is up. I have one question which I'll submit for the record. It's kind of how you, in this very tight budgetary time we're in, I sit on the budget committee. The military budget is a big challenge. We've dealt with some cuts that have to be dealt with, but how we balance that between personnel and ensuring that we have a robust volunteer system and ensure the pay and benefits of retirements are there. At the same time, how do we balance against some of the infrastructure? So I have a more detailed question. I'll submit it to the record, but that's the gist of it, how you will manage that to make sure we have the fighting men and women that we need, but at the same time deal with some severe budget constraints. So I'll just submit that for the record, if that's okay.
Okay, Senator, thanks.
Thank you very much, General. Good luck.